Zero, Chris. The number is 0. That's the number of touchdown passes Diontae Johnson caught from Bryce Young, and also the number of touchdown passes Jonathan Mingo caught in a Carolina Panthers uniform. 0.
Well, I mean, it's hard to catch a touchdown pass or any pass for that matter as your Jonathan Mingo when you catch a ball in bounds and then fling your whole body out of bounds. I still haven't forgiven him for that last year.
Put it on, hang it in the Louvre. Take the picture and hang it in the Louvre. Let's get this sucker started.
Get dialed in, Panthers fans. Here comes an in-depth look at your team. Exclusive interviews. Locker room insight. Ready? Let's huddle up.
Let's just do it, okay?
For Panthers Playbook, driven by Carolina Ford Dealers. Here are your hosts, Dennis Cox and Chris Lea.
Welcome back to another episode of Panthers Playbook. That's Chris Lea, Dennis Cox here with you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below on Jonathan Mingo getting traded, but also what Dan Morgan has done in terms of trades, and also this rookie class that we're seeing emerge for the Carolina Panthers this year. But first, Carolina Ford Dealers, your sponsor of Panthers Playbook. For if you want a Ford F-150 on your team, look no further than Carolina Ford Dealers. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Chris, the news came out on the trade deadline on Tuesday in the morning, actually. Jonathan Mingo gets traded along with the 7th-round pick next year in 2025 for a 4th-round pick from the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought to myself, wait, Dan Morgan was able to turn his number 4/5 wide receiver, depending on who's healthy, into a 4th-round pick next year?
Got more value for that than what they did Diontae Johnson.
I know. That's the thing. Now, I understand that you're going to get 2.5 years of Jonathan Mingo, more cost control because it's a rookie contract thing. Like, okay, I understand that, but Jonathan Mingo was not productive for the Carolina Panthers. So you know what? Good job for Dan Morgan. And I also love the fact that with Mingo no longer being in the locker room, hey, Xavier Legette, you're part of the future. Jalen Coker, you're part of the future. 2 rookies that this team is building around for the future, Chris.
Yeah, first off, the trade itself, it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't expect that to be the trade, right? You would think that maybe you trade somebody for future cost control measures or, whatever like that, or, just to get some quick value back because you might lose them anyway. Or if you try to retain them, you're going to have to, try to really pay them. And maybe you just don't have the space for them for next year with whatever they're looking at for that. But then the fact that the Cowboys gave a 4th-round pick for this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody has access to tape, right? And this is no disrespect to Mingo, but everybody has access to tape. If you're the Cowboys, why him for a 4th-round pick and not Diontae Johnson a week ago? Like, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be mad right now.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't, from the other side, I really don't understand. Like, let's send Carolina Panthers our 4th-round pick and get Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah. Yeah. Make that make sense.
I mean, there's a lot that's been going on that doesn't make sense right now. And that's something that doesn't make sense to me. But hey, we'll take it. And now the Carolina Panthers go from a 7th to a 4th rounder, still keep 9 picks in the NFL draft coming up next year. And they just added that much more value. And so essentially in the 4th round, you're getting guys who probably are 2nd or 3rd round picks, right? Athletically, but maybe there's one small thing that's wrong with them. Maybe their 40 time as a wide receiver, you like it to be 4.3, 4.4. Maybe it was 4.5, right? Maybe this person could have been a 2nd rounder or a 3rd rounder, but there's maybe some sort of sketchy thing in their past, and we're not quite sure. Maybe there's some injury history with this particular person, a la Peyton Wilson. Probably should have been a 1st or a 2nd round pick, but went later on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's usually like you can get a pretty good pick in the 4th round, some pretty good value in the 4th round if you know what you're doing with it. And so congrats to Dan Morgan. I mean, people talked about Dan Morgan got fleeced with the Deontay Johnson trade, I think they got what they could. Dallas got fleeced with this trade because, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously.
Bruh.
And for example, Jadeveon Sanders was the first pick in the 4th round this past year.
Yes.
And we all saw what that dude did this past Sunday.
Yes.
We all seen which by now, right now, of current Carolina Panthers players, Jadeveon Sanders is your leading receiver in yards.
Yes.
Followed by Xavier Legette, followed by Jalen Coker, 3 rookies.
And to go back to like dropping, he dropped because the knock on him was he wasn't as good in pass protection.
Yeah.
As he was as far as like his route running and his ball catching ability. And so that's the part he's been working on with the Carolina Panthers. Other than that, probably should have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah. But hey, that's what you can get out of that. And again, these 3 guys we just mentioned, Sanders, Legette, Coker, rookies, this 2024 draft class already proven to have way better production than the last 2 draft classes. Because now with Jonathan Mingo gone, look at the 2023 draft class, Chris. Bryce Young, I'll say jury's still out. We've shared our feelings on that. He might prove us wrong, but jury's still out on Bryce Young. But by the way, he's starting. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Jonathan Mingo's gone. Your 3rd round pick, DJ Johnson, they keep trying to find guys to be the other outside linebacker opposite of Jadeveon Clowney in place of him. So you're not getting anything from DJ Johnson right now. And then also you have Chandler Zavala, depth guard, and Jamie Robinson is a special teamer. Like,
I like it.
That's it. Like,
but that's
it from your 2023 draft class.
Yeah.
So you have 4 guys from last year's draft class on your team. Go to 2022. You have Ike Ekwonu, who I think has had a pretty good year this year overall.
Yeah.
Still a lot of things to work on, but much better than what he did last year overall. And then you have Cade Mays as a 6th round pick who did a pretty good job filling in as a center, but the guy wasn't even on the roster at the beginning of the year. He was with the Giants.
Back on, and
he was with the Giants practice squad. And then you have Amari Barno, who's a really good special teamer, but he hasn't played this year because he's still recovering from a knee injury that he suffered late last year. That's all that's in your organization from 2022. That's it. That is it. Like, there are literally 4 guys from last year and 2 guys from 2022 on your active 53-man roster from those 2 draft classes. 6. That's it. Like, that's Scott Fitterer disaster written all over it.
Boy.
But you look at what they got going right now. Legette seems like he's getting better every single day. Jonathan Brooks activated.
Yes.
Hopefully we see him get some touches this Sunday. Look at 3rd round pick Trevor Wallace, a dude. Jadeveon Sanders looking like a dude. Sean Smith-Wade playing pretty well so far as he's starting to get more reps. Yeah, I think I'm really liking him as a potential future slot corner. I really like it.
Crumity's coming back.
Crumity we're going to see for the first time. Damani Richardson, undrafted rookie, has been leading the team in tackles the last couple of weeks. Jalen Coker, we've seen this dude just blossom as an undrafted rookie as well. The rookies on this team really give you a lot of hope for the future in terms of what this team is building, Chris. I'm loving what this rookie class has provided.
I think that's also why, like, I was never like down on the future of this team. It was more so the right now wasn't where I thought it should have been at the moment. But I really do feel like, take away what the record looks like right now. Dan Morgan and his front office did an amazing job this offseason with this team. You talk about who they brought in. We've gone over it. The offensive line, so much better right now. Also, here's a sneaky person being brought in, and we'll talk about this in a little bit as well. But you have Jordan Matthews, who they brought in.
Yeah.
And now that Jonathan Mingo is out, he's going to have a heightened role with the team as a wide receiver / tight end hybrid for the team, right?
Special teams role as well. Yeah.
And so, like, and then, it's just the folks that they've brought in and the folks that they've drafted have done wonders, I think, for this team for the most part. There's some that, like, they may not be here next year or whatever, depending on what defensive coordinator is or isn't there in the scheme that's being ran. But there's a lot of good to look forward to with this team. But you just know that they've put the investment in the places that it needed to be. The 2 guards they bring in, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, there's a long-term investment in those guys. You have the draft picks. There's a long-term investment in those guys. And then also Dan Morgan's gotten more picks back for 2025, and now we have 9, and now we've moved up the board a couple times. The future is this team. If they do just as well next year in drafting as they did this past year with drafting, the future is definitely getting brighter for the Carolina Panthers.
And I hope they dedicate a lot of next year's draft to defense, because the defense needs it, because they sacrificed a lot of defense to get to where the offense is right now, or at least the pieces on offense. I hope a lot of that goes to the defensive side of the field. Now, a big question going forward is, well, is Bryce in that future plan? That's a major question. Is Bryce in that future plan? And he's getting an opportunity to start again on Sunday in Germany against the New York Giants. And Dave Canales talked about it on Wednesday in his press conference. And it feels like, even though he hasn't like fully committed to saying Bryce is our starter for the rest of the year, it gives me the impression, the way Dave Canales spoke on Wednesday, that if Bryce plays well in Germany, at least continues to show progress, then we're going to ride it out the rest of the season with him. We're going to ride out the rest of the year with him. And you know what? That's fine. He's the young guy. Play the young guy. Andy gave you what he gave you. Andy Dalton is a backup in this league, and that's okay. He had a good career, really good career. He's a backup in this league. But you know what? Fine. Like, ride it with Bryce the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. And, you know, again, this is probably going to sound like hate because we've been accused of that. But I like the fact that Bryce Young hasn't lost the game for you for the last couple of weeks or so. He actually got a chance to get you a win despite how bad things were overall. And listen, winning that game on Sunday was an anomaly, right? It was literally the first time in NFL history in the Super Bowl era that a team gave up over 425 yards, lost the turnover battle, and I guess was under 125 yards in passing and in rushing to their opponent, and still ended up winning the game. Literally, I think the record is like 225-1. So the Panthers are the one. So
in the last 20 years, the Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards. I have what Bill Barnwell of ESPN posted. Pulled up. Bill Barnwell, ESPN. Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards, ran for 150 plus yards, and won the turnover battle. Over the last 20 years, teams had gone 275-0 in that formula. Now it's 275-1. Okay. Now, the Panthers are the first team in the Super Bowl era to win with under 250 total yards gained, 0 takeaways, and 425 plus yards allowed. They are the first team to win in the Super Bowl era doing that. Like you said, the win on Sunday was an anomaly, but hey, I ain't giving wins back.
So
I ain't giving it back.
I'm not going to give it back, but also like I want to just paint the picture of, I don't know what happened with this. It's more so like the Saints gave it away. We were in a press box sitting next to each other. Like, why did the Saints call that play? Why are they doing this?
On 4th and 4.
Why did Alvin Kamara go out of bounds here on 3rd down?
Yeah.
Why did he try to get tackled inbound so the clock can run? Like, it was,
or force the Panthers to burn a timeout. Yeah.
It was so many different things that happened, and we were just like, they're gonna let them get back into this game. Even after the Panthers got the ball back at 3 and out, they still kept messing up and still kept getting penalties and things like that. But despite all that, Bryce Young got a win, right?
He did. And guess what? When the opportunity presented itself, he took it.
And it did. He presented itself, and he made some good throws in that. And of course, Steve Smith's like route of the week was that 25-yard or so, whatever it was.
Oh, it's a big
throw to Jalen. No, to Coker.
Oh, to Coker.
Jalen Coker over the middle when he came across the formation. And so it came across the field, excuse me. And so when having all of that and seeing what Bryce Young has been able to do, and also him playing just a little bit better every single week, you got to see what you have. And it was cool actually hearing from Dan Morgan saying we didn't consider trading him.
Oh, yeah,
he was our number one overall
on Wednesday.
He was our number 1 overall pick last year. We want to build with him. We just needed to sit him down for a little bit. And now he's playing, and we hope that it's working out for the future. I like that it gives him a vote of confidence. Hopefully his confidence gets better, and Bryce can, take the opportunity and run with it.
Oh, it's his. It's his to take. The question is, can he take it? Like, how well is he going to run with this opportunity that he has once again? Because there are doubters. us included. Us included in that. We're not the only ones saying it, but we're not afraid to say, hey, if he proves us wrong, we'll say that we're wrong. But he has to continue to string together good performances on a consistent basis. That's just something that he hasn't done yet. But things around him have gotten better. In terms of Sunday, this coming Sunday against the Giants, it's a winnable game, obviously. Both teams are 2-7. It's a winnable game. And I know the Giants pass rush, even with out Kayvon Thibodeau, who's been out for a while, you still got to deal with Dexter Lawrence. You still got to deal with that guy by the name of Brian Burns on the other side as well. Like, their pass rush is legit. Their front is pretty legitimate. And something that I hope that this team does, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, you know what? Keep losing, get a high draft pick. But if I'm Dave Canales, you're trying to establish a winning culture. And the only way you establish a winning culture is by winning. And that's what I want these guys to have. Dave Canales and his culture being established, winning. I want this team to win games. I'm tired of losing. I don't want tanking. I want wins.
Dennis, if you had the second number overall pick, right? Mm-hmm. And get a good player. If you had the 9th overall pick and get a good player, what's really the difference? Yeah. Honestly, it just comes down to what your front office and your scouting department is able to do, and if the board falls to you the right way. But there are game changers all over that first round.
Oh yeah,
I don't care if you're picking 29th. Like, you can get a game changer at 29. I mean,
TJ Watt was a late first round pick.
Look what the Baltimore Ravens did at number 32 a few years ago. Hello.
Hi.
You know what I'm saying? Turn into a couple MVPs for them, and look where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's you can so I don't get this whole, tank and all that. No. You remember, we got Christian McCaffrey at like number 8 overall in 2017.
Yeah.
Right. So the Carolina Panthers not being top 5, if they win a few games, is not going to hurt us whatsoever. It's more so about how the board falls to us and what the scouting department ends up doing. We didn't have faith in the Scott Fitterer regime and administration, which is why everybody wants to pick high. With what Dan Morgan has done so far, I'm a believer now in what they do. I don't care where they are on the board. And that's why I wasn't too upset about the Deontay Johnson trade. It was like, okay, they'll do something with it, because they've shown me this year they can do something with it. And I'm confident that they will.
Remember, Xavier Legette was picked 32 in the draft.
Right.
Was picked 32.
Right. And what? I think he's 3rd among rookie receivers in receiving touchdowns?
Yeah, he has 4 this year. And he's getting better every single game.
And
that's the thing that matters. That's the thing that matters most. He's getting better every single game. The growth of this team, it's not happening overnight. We've talked about this, but it is getting better. And that's the thing that matters most. The future of this team, I think, is going in the right direction.
Here's another question, and I was trying to think of this. When was the last time the Panthers, take out maybe like a specialty player, like a kicker or a punter or somebody like that, or a long snapper? When was the last time the Carolina Panthers had an impactful undrafted free agent like Jalen Coker or Damani Richardson? I'm having a hard time really, really thinking about it. Because one of the things that I've always thought about the Carolina Panthers, back when, what's my man who was right before he came after and before Marty Hurney, when Marty Hurney came back? Dave Gettleman. One of the things, going back to Dave Gettleman, back to Hurney, to Fitterer, that one of the knocks I had on the Carolina Panthers scouting department is I didn't feel like they did a good job with the undrafted free agent market, right? Like, you didn't have those, stories of those Adam Thielen stories, like, oh my God, they found this guy and it fell to them. Like, those guys usually didn't stick around. Now we're going to be hooked on X and Coke for the next few years. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm so glad that the Carolina Panthers know exactly what they're doing now with their scouting department, because we're going to be hooked on X and Coke for the next few years. We got X heads, we got Coke heads, Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker, the duo we didn't know we needed.
Oh, nothing but energy and hype. Nothing but energy and hype when you got that.
We ready for some touchdowns.
You might really be riding dollar bill. That's all I can say. By the way,
Hopefully it's not rolled up.
this Sunday, we will be at the Carolina Ale House in Cary, North Carolina. Carolina Ale House. Again, it's a 9:30 kickoff for the Panthers. We're going to be there. We're actually going to do Panthers playbook right after the game ends at the Carolina Ale House in Cary. Come watch the game with us. If you disagree with our takes, that's fine. We're going to do the show there. Yell at us there. That's totally fine. No problem with that. Come talk Panthers. Come watch football with us. We'll just sit there and have a good time as well. There's going to be a breakfast buffet. There's going to be drink specials that going on starting at 10 o'clock. There's a bunch of different things going on. So make sure you're at the Carolina Ale House in Cary. As always, Chris, Carolina Ford dealers are sponsor of Panthers Playbook. If you want a Ford F-150 on your team, see your Carolina Ford dealer today. Chris, I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Me too. You know what I'm also looking forward to?
What's that?
The bye week.
We all need it, right?
Bruh. Like, even podcasters need a bye week. And, man, I'm so glad that this is going to be early on Sunday. We can knock out Panthers Playbook. We can go watch a full slate of games and then watch a full slate of games next week. And then come back to the Carolina Panthers.
And let's sprint to the finish line.
Woo! Let's do it.
We out.